If you're new to fasting, or maybe you've tried it before but you're struggling to see results, honestly, I'm not surprised. There is so much mixed information trying to sell you something. Fasting Tube is independent and focusing on real information. Let's get started with today's video.
The question, which is better, eating breakfast or fasting until lunch? To eat or not to eat breakfast? There is much debate on whether to eat breakfast or fast. If you eat breakfast, avoid these top 10 killers. Not avoid. Top 10 killers. First, let's talk about fasting. Fasting. Many people think that training fasted is when your stomach is empty, but it's much more than that. It has a lot to do with how your body breaks down and absorbs food. When you consume food, they're broken down into different kinds of molecules. These molecules are released into the bloodstream and causes insulin to spike as well. Insulin's job is to shuttle these molecules into the cell. Insulin levels can be elevated for several hours depending on how much food you consume. As soon as you consume food, your body processes and absorbs them, resulting in being in a fed state. When your body is finished processing food, insulin begins to decline to a lower level or baseline level. Once insulin drops, your body goes back into a fasted state. So in a sense, your body goes from fasted to fed all day long depending on how much you eat throughout the day. When training in a fed state, your body is still breaking the food down while insulin is elevated. When training in a fed state, your body is still breaking the food down while insulin is elevated. When training in a fasted state, your body's insulin levels are low or at a baseline level. When training in a fasted state, your body's insulin levels are low or at a baseline level. When you consume food before hitting the gym, insulin is released and your body will use that food for energy. If you are trying to lose fat, it would be ideal to train in a fasted state, as you'll use body fat for energy rather than the food you consumed an hour prior to training. Think of it like this: if your body has a surplus of food before training, it has no reason to use body fat for energy to get you through your workout. When food isn't present and being processed, it has no choice but to use the fat on your body to fuel your workouts. In the graph below, you can see how insulin is elevated and decreased between meals, but when sleeping, insulin stays very low and for a longer period of time. Essentially, when you are sleeping, you are fasting. Imagine how much fat you can burn when you wake in the morning and prolong your first meal. This is why intermittent fasting has become so popular, because when fasting all night and upon waking in the morning, you wait to eat until, let's say, noontime, you'll keep your body in fat burning mode longer. This is one of the fastest ways to lose fat without training. But what happens when you throw training in the mix? Training fasted. Weightlifting causes a dramatic spike in plasma catecholamine levels, and as catecholamines are better able to mobilize fat when you're in a fasted state, fasted weightlifting is worth a shot. The only drawback to training fasted when lifting weights is that you won't be able to lift at your heaviest, so don't expect to have any PRs. Personal records. Training fasted has great fat loss and muscle building benefits, and you'll find it a little difficult for the first few weeks, but your body is great at adapting. Eliminating food before training will eventually give you more focus in the gym, as your body is in the process of breaking down food when fed. Another thing to note is ingesting carbs before training may give you an energy boost, but eventually it will cloud and disrupt your training, losing focus, intensity and drive. If you decide to start training fasted, I would highly recommend a few supplements, because the reality is training fasted will accelerate muscle breakdown. Supplements. BCAAs, branched-chain amino acids, have been found to reduce muscle soreness after and during intense exercise. They're also a significant indicator of lean mass in a population of young and middle-aged adults. HMB is very good at preventing muscle breakdown and is considered to be an anti-catabolic agent, which means you will recover faster from your workouts and experience less muscle soreness. Leucine stimulates protein synthesis to build muscle. For best results, supplement 5 grams of leucine mixed with whey protein 1 hour after training. Eating breakfast. There is nothing wrong with eating breakfast, but it largely depends on what you eat. While intermittent fasting has been on the rise and scientific research has shown big benefits for better body composition, many researchers suggest that skipping breakfast ultimately leads to weight gain by making poor food choices later in the day. If you are someone who loves and enjoys breakfast, there are several foods that you should avoid if you want to lose fat or maintain good body composition. Creating different meals for fat loss or building lean muscle can be quite expensive, time-consuming and confusing for those starting out. 4 studies have shown that this type of breakfast consisting of protein and fat helps struggling men and women to lose fat at least twice as fast, and up to 6 times as fast, at least. twice and up to 6 times as fast. It also may be a useful strategy to increase satiety, improve appetite control, reduce snacking, improve diet quality, reduce food motivation and reward, and support healthy weight management. The truth is, there are 7 fatty foods that can help you get a flat stomach. With that being said, if you choose to eat breakfast, make sure to avoid these 10 for fat loss equals greater than 10 worst breakfast foods to avoid.